We started.
I know, gang. I know.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, yeah. You're good. Go. Keep going. Keep going.
Now we have.
No. Keep going. No, you're good though.
The bit is dead, gang.
Oh, you're still on it? All right.
Okay. Fuck this cue.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back to the part 3 of the Niagara recap. We're going to do a slight little bit of deck theory. Of course, I would never call myself knowledgeable enough to give you the entire breakdown, but we're just going to go over the choices that I made and what I would consider going forward and what I might consider changing. So, again, very, very simply, Swamp King contract. Now, I did say previously in my deck profile that you need some kind of recovery towards your slime getting banished, so you have access to your fusion tools. Yes, you can play one Swirl Slime, but the reason why I stuck with the Swamp King, very simply, it gives your Machinex an extra bullet. And reinforcing your Machinex, even though it's not the most relevant boss monster, just making it a little bit stronger can sometimes edge out the game. So that's why I chose to stick with this one and not go towards the Swirl Slime. However, the Swirl Slime is better going second, but playing one of, you're not expected to draw it. If I was playing 3 Swirl Slime, that'd be a different deck profile entirely. But just for this event and currently, I think this is the best way to go about it. As for another one of my choices, when it came to the Triple Veiler and Triple Imperm, very, very simply, these rush out of your hand. No one is playing around or trying to outplay these cards in the sense of like everyone's expecting to get Veilered. These jump out of your hand like crazy, and then having other hand traps to bolster you, even the Dominus Impulse, is good enough to continue with. That's why Nibiru felt so much of a condition and so hard to turn on, because people would just play around it or pass under 4 summons, and it would just have done nothing. It didn't give me any value, and by the time it would give me value, they would have a negate up. That's why don't ever worry about these cards sticking in your hand. I promise they will fly out of your hand like nobody's business. Now, I know some of you guys probably saw my impulse and said I didn't say it was outperformed. It was great, but again, it came down to the fact that if my opponent had inherent summons, it just was not working. And that was the problem that I had, is that I was playing against Radiant Typhoon especially. I had this set game 1, and it did absolutely nothing. It just sat there, and it was not turning on for me. So, and yes, you could say they're chain blocking and doing other things, but like if they're able to chain block or have inherent summons, this is just gonna sit there and do nothing. So I did end up siding these out for Moonlit Chills, which yes is also a natural side for Radiant Typhoon, but this card was good. But that's why I played the Moonlit Chills as well, because against inherent summons, it's just not really useful at all. That's the same thing with Caesar. It just doesn't come up. And as for the 2 little debates that people have where it comes to the utility pieces and do you play Wave King, do you not play Wave King? In my build, you are playing plenty of contracts. So Wave King is an extender, a midline card. It can help you do a lot of things. That's why Wave King was necessary in my build. If you're not going to play as many contracts, you could consider cutting it. Chaos Angel, it's useful because of what it can do and because it's a Fiend Synchro, which is incredibly helpful to you. Do you need to play Chaos Angel to win? Of course not, but what's it called? It definitely did come up just to bait their cards or force interaction. And now the last few little choices were obviously Contract with a Different Dimension, Contract with the Witch, Headhunt, and Flame King Genghis. We have a lot of fusions in this archetype. The only reason why you play High King, or why I was considering playing High King, is because when you use your fusions, they're kind of all midline cards and then they're gone. And it's kind of hard to get them all back unless you're not using Ragnarok. This would give you access to reviving them and just gives you a lot more recovery. On top of that, it's a spell trap negate that helps you fight against things going second. If I was going to swap out Chaos Angel, it would be for Flame King Genghis. I haven't tested it yet. I haven't played with it yet, but it's a real conversation to have of reconsidering this card. I know a lot of people who are playing the Swirl Slime build. Yes, they're already playing it because it's naturally flows, but I just stayed away from it just for now. I might reconsider it. As for Different Dimension, this card is interesting because it acts as a DD Crow kind of thing. However, it's just a little bit too slow for me to rely on it. I'd rather rely on a bigger or heftier contract like the Floodgates that I'm playing. A lot of people play Dark Contract with the Witch. The problem that I have with Dark Contract with the Witch, it needs you to send a DD or Dark Contract card from your hand so it's live. So to keep this live, I have to keep a piece in my hand. I use my pieces, all of my pieces, to extend through hand traps and interruption. I don't want to keep a piece just to make another one of my cards live. Yes, I understand it's a free pop and I can use it during both turns, and it's very, very nice that way in the utility that it gives. However, I don't want to load this up with a bullet. I need to be keeping cards in my hand, whereas I'm always using them to play through other things. That's why I couldn't realistically play this card. Headhunt, I genuinely am reconsidering because having an effect negation right now is very, very nice, and effect negation that steals and that also becomes a triple D is incredible, because that's the same reason why I'm playing double Machinex. You can take something and now it's a Machinex. So I will heavily reconsider this card. I'd encourage you guys to do the same. A really interesting side option. And I know it's very, very challenging to side with this deck because you don't really know what to side. However, going first, it's very, very simple. You play 15 hand traps, so you can just vary them out. You can either, if you're playing cross out like me, I usually just take 2 of each hand trap that I think is not really useful in that matchup, or that I think that people are going to side in against me, like Imperms and Veilers, or or Fool Rolls especially. I just take 2 of each out, and then I put in my, what's it called? I put in my Talents, Patent License, Cross Out, Called By, and 2 Drolls. So I literally swap out 6 hand traps and I put in 6 going first cards, and that's usually enough. Well, it was definitely enough. Now, if I'm playing against something that I know, again, it has no inherent summons, or sorry, that I know that like one of my hand traps isn't going to do as well against, I just swap it out for like a Bell or whatever else. But 90% of the time, I'm swapping out Imperm, Veiler, and Furos, like 2 of each copy, just to put these 6 in. And that's good enough. And sometimes I keep the second contract just so I can use this contract as a recovery point or extender. Or sometimes I consider just adding in 1 more random hand trap just to give me a little bit more push. Now going second, it can be a little bit more challenging, but that's why we play so many copies of these guys. So we're already playing 15 hand traps and we're siding into more hand traps. Usually we only side into 3 hand traps to have 18 total. So for those 3 hand traps, we're taking out 2 Scale Surveyor and a Griffin, and we're just putting in whatever hand trap we need. So whether it's Moonlit Chill or Bell or whatever else. The reason why we cut it down to this is because there's too many combos where you need 2 Griffins, and 1 Scale Surveyor is enough to do whatever you need. The reason why you play so many, because you don't know if you're going to go first or second, and this helps playing through hand traps. But if you know you're going to go second, this is enough to get you going, and just side in the 3 other hand traps to get you the game. The only thing that I wouldn't recommend is you side out your utility pieces. Too many people side out your Defense Soldiers or Lance Soldier, or not Lance Soldier, but like your Cope or your whatever else. Just do not side out your utility, because that's what wins you the game. Like, people are gonna say, why didn't you side out Defense Soldier? Defense Soldier won me multiple games just because it helped me be the extra push that I needed. This is the only thing that I've ever sided out going second. I've never needed to side out anything else besides hand traps that weren't working. And that's pretty much the entire breakdown of how I played this deck and how I think you should be playing this deck for now. I would definitely tell you guys to reconsider Genghis, heavily consider Headhunt, and heavily consider Defense Soldier. These would be the 3 main candidates that I would definitely consider working with. This one I'm already maining. These 2 I would consider putting them back in. I'm just not sure if I want to commit to it yet. Thank you guys again for sticking around, and hopefully I see you guys as we wrap up this series.